Jay Runer here, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to build a speed build in a 2015 Corvette. Now, this is a beginner's guide for those who are new to Forza, but maybe the experts and veterans of the game can learn something from this also. So let's get started. First thing I need to emphasize, never use quick upgrades. If you saw my last video on how to optimize a handling build, which I suggest anybody who's new to the game go watch that video also. Never use quick upgrades. It takes your entire ability to tune the car away from you. Okay, so first things first, when building a speed car, fully upgrade the stock motor. This may be the strongest motor for the car since Forza does have multiple motor swaps, but just use it as a benchmark. If it has 4 or 3 motors, build all 3 of them and then compare each one of them. Let's see, after I get done fully upgrading this motor, I'm going to save it and, name it something easy like S1 for like speed 1 for one motor and then speed 2 for the next one, so you can keep up with it. So, alright, this is our first motor built. 995 horsepower and 872 foot-pounds of torque, which that's pretty powerful. So we're going to save this setup real quick underneath S1. And now we're going to go to the engine swaps after it gets done, and we're going to look at what other motors are left for the Corvette, and then we'll build those two, and then we'll compare the two. So we'll go to engine swaps, and this is the second motor that's available, which is the V8 Racing. It's the NASCAR motor. Going to go back to engine upgrades. Going to fully upgrade that one. So we're going to go back to our settings. And we're going to hit load setup. Go to ours. Look at the previous to new. So previous is what we got now, which is 994 horsepower, 783 foot-pounds of torque, 3,547 pounds. And then the new will be 995 horsepower, 1 more horsepower, 872 foot-pounds of torque, almost nearly 100 more pounds of torque, which you want that for acceleration, and nearly 100 pounds less weight. So less weight is better, more torque is better in this particular build. So we're going to be going with the stock motor. So once you get done with that testing, you'll reload whatever motor you want to use, and then from there we're going to max out the PI with essentials and anything else we can add to it. So once this finishes loading up, we are going to go to our essentials, which in my case is always springs, roll bars, transmission, and racing differentials. And that's just my preference because I like to tune my own suspension and my own transmission. All right. Once you got your essentials on there, go to your aerodynamics, go to the rear. Since this wing does produce downforce, it causes drag and will make your car go slower in a straight line, and you'll miss out on a lot of top end. So currently it can go 213 miles per hour per the benchmark, and then once you take the wing off, it increases it to 223. So we added 10 more miles per hour to this build, and we lost a little bit of PI, so that means we get to add a little bit more to it. We went from a 799 to a 797, and our handling went down by 0.1, which that's not a bad thing. 5.9 in S-Class is actually really good in a speed build. So we're going to look at the tires next. If anything that you need to upgrade in the tires, it's always the back tire. Make it as wide as possible. Now, since it is 995 horsepower, you may have to use traction control so you can come out of the corners quicker. Because a lot of these speed cars, you can't really drive them without being able to maximize the full potential of the car. Because a lot of times people want to build these cars and drive them without traction control, but they can't get out of the corners. And once they get on the straights, they're fine, but they can't get out of the corners. So you will more than likely have to use traction control, and it could make you much faster. Alright, so we put the widest tire on there, and we maxed out our PI. So it looks like we have ourselves a pretty stout speed build. Has a lot of handling. I'm guessing because of the aerodynamics of the Corvette, it doesn't allow it to go any faster than 223 miles per hour, probably because that front bumper does have downforce on it. We did take care of the downforce on the back, but we cannot remove the front downforce. We can add the other bumper on there, but I don't think that would make too much of a difference. Actually, we can't put it on there because it actually increases the PI too much. But now that makes me wonder, if I put this front bumper on here and I killed the aero, what I mean by that is going into the tuning settings after putting this bumper on there and killing the aerodynamics, would I be able to go faster? So let's see if we can add some weight to the car and get it back down to 800. So we're going to be looking for a heavier rim, which that one is looking pretty good. Brings it down to R81. We can maybe increase the width and get it down to 800 so we can kill the aerodynamics. It looks like we're not going to be able to reach that, so let's see. Let me go back here and see if there's anything. Oh, there we go. Looks like we found a bigger rim and we lose 1 PI and still retain a 6.0 handling. So let's put that on there. Is there any little things that I can do to bring that 1 point up? It doesn't have a drive shaft, but it does have a flywheel. Hey, there we go. We're back to 800. We gained a little weight, but weight's not that big of a deal. Weight is actually a good thing in speed builds a lot of times because it puts more grip on the back end when your car throws back with the suspension. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. So let's go to the tuning settings and let's completely take all the aero off that front bumper and see if we could change the dynamics of our top end. So it's 219.7 right now, and we can bring it up to 221 miles per hour, which in this case is not that big of a difference, but we do get to keep retain a lot of handling out of it because it doesn't really take too much downforce out of it. Let's see how many lateral G's we'll lose here. So it's 1.29 for 60 miles per hour and 1.33 for 120. So if I take all the aerodynamics out of the front bumper, that gives us still a 1.29 in 60 mile per hour and 1.32 in 120 mile per hour range, which when you look at it that way, more handling and you lose 2 miles per hour, I would say that would be the beneficial build here and have a 6.6 handling in a speed car. Granted that it cannot really compete with the speed cars in S-Class, but it might actually do good around the Indy track. Like the Le Mans track, you probably won't be competitive enough because you need at least 250 plus to be competitive on that track. But all the other speed tracks like Road America, especially Road America, and Indy, and there's probably a couple more in there, you'll be real competitive because you'll be able to take the turns. So 995 horsepower with a 6.0 handling, I think you're winning in that sense. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then I think that's every little thing I could optimize here. So this has been Jay Runer. Like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.